Hey guys, welcome back to Mag 5 Firearms. Today we're gonna do a short video. We are gonna be working on my Garrison, Springfield Armory Garrison 1911. I actually just cleaned it not that long ago, so it's really clean. But what I'd like to do today is just show you guys how to take it apart and put it back together. So it won't be too long of a video, but and then I'll talk about the gun during the process. Let's have some fun. All right, guys. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Let's have some fun today. So, like I said in my intro, today we're going to be working on my Springfield Armory Garrison 1911. This pistol was my everyday carry for the longest time, probably well over a year. This thing has never failed me once. It has been such a great pistol. Not that I'm throwing it out or anything or making it like it sound like it's dead or nothing, but it's just like after the year, I kind of just felt like it got heavy and, it was pulling down my pants. And so, that's when I decided to move over to the Glock 45. But which is just a little bit of a lighter gun. So, the Garrison is probably weighing in at like 36 ounces. It's pure steel. I mean, I should hold this up higher for you. This is pure steel. And, it just has a lot of weight to it, right? The only non-steel part really is the handles. All right there. And even that's just like a polymer wood look kind of, kind of a finish to it. Um, I took really good care of this thing. Still do. I think I shot it 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I took it right home. I took care of it. I buffed out all the fingerprints that were on it, and I put it up on my wall. So today, I mean, the 1911 was started in 1911, right? It was a World War II pistol, World War One, World War II pistol. The Army used it as their sidearms for the longest times. And then, if I remember correctly, it was Colt that started all this. But don't quote me on that. I'm not exactly sure. But anyway, it is one of the most dependable guns that anybody can ever carry. That's why it's called Old Reliable. The pistol itself, you can drop it in mud, stick it in water, pull it out, and it'll fire every time. So really, no issues. Um, and this one here is such a great gun. Like, there is no movement to this slide at all. It's stiff as can be. So when you're shooting, it stays straight. The only upgrade I did to this pistol was I put night sights on it. That was the only thing. Um, yeah, really, really, this is a great pistol. A lot of people talk about Springfield Armory and the Hellcats and all that and their AR, but their 1911 editions are pretty spectacular pistols. I have nothing bad to say about this, you know. But now the 2011s came out, and these are kind of seem like they're becoming a dying breed, and that the old heads are really the ones who still carry it. Mine is chambered in 9 millimeter, but the popular one is the 45. So yeah. So what we're gonna do today is we're just gonna strip it down, basic field strip. If we have time, maybe we'll take it down a little bit more and see what happens from there. But you know, let's have some fun with it, right? So the first thing we want to do when we're stripping a pistol is safety first, right? We're gonna make sure there is nothing in there, right? There's no magazine, right? And there's nothing in the chamber, and we're good to go, right? Perfect. So the way you want to start when it comes to the Garrisons, there's a little release button here. You want to push it down, and this it's like I don't know, I call it a choke. You just slide it off to the side like this, and then this has a lot of tension on it. All right, so you want to pull this up slowly, and then you can just pull it out. So there's the cap, and there's your guide spring. All right, now you want to take this same choke or collar, maybe collar's probably a better word, and you're gonna spin it this way until you get about there. Okay, now inside, and I'll show you when we pull it out, there's like a little nipple that rotates in a groove. So you got to get it out of the groove open free, which is why you got to take the spring out first, right? Can you guys? All right, so the camera can't see the parts, so we're going to do this. All right, so again, so you just move it over and make sure you're lined up. Otherwise, you're going to get stuck and pain in the ass. And you just pull that up, just like that. Okay? Now, on the side of the Garrison, so we released all the tension in here. So this is going to free, just going to free. There's nothing that's holding it back. So there is 2 notches here, right? The first big one is for when the slide gets caught, the slide catch, right? That goes up, stops the slide. Right, the second one, which is further back to the right, which is this one, okay, that's how we take down the pistol. So you make sure that's lined up completely, and then on this side is the other side of the takedown lever. You're gonna push up on that with your finger. Make sure you're lined up, because I'm telling you, it won't work until you, there it is. All right, I don't know if you saw that, but it just slid right out. Boom. There's number 4. Okay? And now at this point, it just slides right off into 2 pieces. One, and here's the other one. Okay? Now this is your slide, and obviously your barrel, and you got this little dingamajigger right here, and then you have this right here. So this is the other side of the spring. So the spring actually sits on the barrel. Make sure you guys can see this, like this. All right, there's a little half moon shape right there at the bottom of that plunger. Maybe that's a good word for it. I don't know, but it sits right there like that, and the spring comes through here, and it sits in there just like that. All right, and when this is under pressure, when it gets fired, right, the barrel comes forward, compressing the spring, and then the spring brings it back to battery, right? And it puts so that you can fire again. So again, it always fascinates me the way people engineered these things. Like who would have thought, right? I definitely wouldn't have. Like who would have thought of like, oh, let's put a spring in there with a little plunger plastic thing, and let's see what happens when we make an explosion. I don't know. But it's definitely fascinating to me. So anyway, so you pull that out, and then there's your plunger. I'm going to call it a plunger. I have no idea. And then this here is where the release, right? So the release slides through this hole like that, and this piece here is right in the middle. So that's what kind of holds it in place, right? So now to remove the barrel, you make sure you slide that forward. That's like that. Okay? You're gonna pick it up just a little bit, get it off its seat, and you're just gonna pull forward. There you go. And now we're at a complete field strip. Right? So this is what I would do on a normal, after about 600 rounds, I go through, I spray it down with our awesome Riptide, right? Riptide, which I found out just came out with a new advanced formula called Commander or something. I'm gonna get it and see how that works, and I'll let you know. But anyway, yeah, and I scrub it down this way, right? Typically, you don't need to go any more than this. And I always make sure I get inside the frame as well. Now, something I haven't done before is remove these things to see what's behind it. I think we have a little bit of time. I actually did that pretty quick. So let's see what we got here. It's a star. Let me see what I can do. So I got my handy dandy little torque screw kit here, torque driver kit, torque something or another kit. I'm just going to find the right size, which is right there, which seems to be a number 15. It's a T15. Okay, let's see what the inside looks like. Ready? It's the first time for all of us. Screw number 1 on my magnet. Screw number 2. That wasn't too bad. I thought it was going to be a little bit harder. Thought it would be in there, like driven in there pretty tight. But screw number 2. And then, let's see. There it is. Ah, that's actually wood. That's actually wood. That I thought it was polymer, but it's not. This is wood. That's actually really neat. It just to me that increases the values. Maybe the wrong word, but the quality, I guess, would be the right word that I would use. You know, I think that's fabulous. So now we're looking at, see, maybe I shouldn't have done this. Now I see all this schmutz here, and I got to clean it because I can't leave it behind, right? So let's take the other side off. See what that looks like. And I promise I won't go any further than this. We'll look inside. We'll see what it's like, what it looks like. See what we can see. And we'll put it back together. There's the other one. I'll put that there right next to it. And this comes. Come on. Come on. Uh-oh. Maybe you got to push from this side. There we go. So we had to push. There's the other one. So I hope you can see this, but this is really cool here. All right, so now I'm looking at it and I see, so this is the grip safety, right? So this gun actually has 2 safeties on it. So it has the thumb safety right here, right? Up and down. And then it has the grip safety. So you got to get your hand in there tight for that safety to, disengage. And then you bring down the other, you bring down the other one, and now you're fully armed. Now this is always chambered, right? So when you're carrying it's not like a Glock or a Sig where you can just carry with it without being in the chamber, right? You just kind of got to cock it before you go to shoot, right? But with this, you actually carry it with it already cocked, right? And with the safety on, that trigger, that hammer won't move, right? And plus you have the safety, the grip safety, so that hammer will not drop until you disengage. Uh-oh, what did I do? Let's try that again. There it is. All right, so until you disengage the safety and get your hand in there, and then you can pull the trigger. Now that's a bad omen right there, right? People say you should never drop the hammer on a unloaded 1911. What the theory behind that is, I don't know, but that's what they say. But this is definitely cool. I see a pin here, and I see a pin here. So there's 2 there. And there's another one here. So I'm assuming that we could see, and with the hammer up, you can't even engage this safety, right? So you have to pull this hammer back to engage the thumb safety. Yeah, it's pretty neat. So it's definitely safety was the motto. So you can't even engage it while it's, so you got to pull it back, and then there it goes, right? So anyway, so there's a pin there, there's a pin here. I bet you this comes off with those 2 pins. I see another pin here. and a pin here. But exactly what that will release, I am not too sure. And at this point, I'm not too comfortable. But look at this, man. This is all steel. All steel. I don't know if you can hear that, but that's all steel. So, since I have it open and my OCD is killing me, I'm going to spritz this and we're going to clean this up. Just a little one. Just a little cleaning. I promise we won't go more than this. And you really got to take care of this because, you know, the surface rust, you don't want it. You don't want it to take over, right? This side too. You can't do one without the other, right? You know, they say with the Riptide that you really should let it sit for 15 seconds. So that's been about that, right? For it to work optimally. Yep. Sir. Yes, sir. Look at that. Yeah, I was jonesing to get this gun. I saw it. Saw it. Where did I see it for the first time? Well, I knew I always wanted a 1911. I never knew which one to get, right? And you know, always coming from a working class family, we always tried to take cost into consideration, right? And so did I. So I was always trying to find an affordable. That's how. That's how it pretty much is all the time. You know, trying to find an affordable weapon, right? I'm not trying to like, you know. Well, one day, I'm hoping that one day I can buy some really, really nice guns, right? Now, it doesn't mean the price of it doesn't mean cheaper it is, the worse it is. That's not the case at all, right? Glock is one of the best made guns in the world. You know, you can pick them up for like $600 or $700, all right? And then there's some 1911s that you can pick up for $2,000, right? Depending on which ones they are. This one here ran me, I guess after tax and everything, it was like $800, $8.25, I think it was. So, you know, so I went with it. Now I am a firm believer of you know, of the more you spend, the better it is. I don't believe in that, right? I believe in the quality of what the manufacturer does. Springfield has been around for a long, long time. So, you know, so for me, for an affordable first time, this was a no-brainer, right? So we're gonna start reassembling this while I'm chatting your ear off. So we're gonna go with this one first. You know, so yeah, so it was about $800. Now, this one here is what they call blued. It's a blued metal. And so it's just a darker, has a little bit of a blue tint to it. Like that's what they say. I honestly see it a little bit. So, you know, I think it's kind of cool. But I see more of the steel in it, right? It's like a gunmetal steel look, which I really, really do like. Now, when it comes to these all steel 1911s, right, you gotta really make sure that you're taking care of it and you're oiling it and you're doing all that. Otherwise, you know, you will get a rust on it, right? And that's one thing I don't want to deal with on a handgun. So make sure when you're doing it, you dry it properly and Make sure it, you know, you're drying it properly and you're storing it properly. All right. Now, I've taught you in some of my other videos that, you know, in my opinion, oil protects. It gives a coating, you know. Could be because I'm Italian and I have olive oil in my blood. I have no idea. But I'll tell you this, is that you put a nice coating of oil on this and then you buff it in with a good rag, you know, it takes care of it, right? It treats it, you know. Yeah, this is definitely a beautiful gun. Now, there are some scrapes and dings on it. I'm thinking about going out and getting some of that blued stuff in a bottle and see if I can do a little touch up, or the blue pens, you know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right, so we got the handles back on. And just like any other gun, when we're putting it back together, we just do it backwards, right? So now we're going to go to the barrel. And take the barrel. We're going to slide it in just like that. And we're going to make sure it seats correctly. If you noticed, it actually fell in. It dipped down, right? And let's bring that back up again just so that you can see it. Hoping I got that on camera. But you slide it in and it dips down. So you know it's seated in place properly, right? And then a little floppy dingamajigger right there, right? The catch, we'll call it. I don't know. That goes up, and this plunger goes like that. Okay? And then we'll put this spring in just to help hold the plunger in place while we're putting it back on the slide, right? Because the last thing you want is like for it to turn, right? If it turns like that, it might jam up your slide. So what you got to make sure that that stays with that half moon saddling the barrel. Okay. So I just put a little pressure on it like that with my hand. It does bow a little bit. Okay. But once we get it on the frame, you can just take the pressure off. All right. So we get it on the frame, slide it in, making sure nothing's getting caught. Boom. And we're in. Okay. And now you can release the pressure. Now we got to put the catch back on. And we got to remember that floppy thing, whatever that was called, I forget what they're called. I'm not good with terminology. But you got to make sure it's down, right? Otherwise, you ain't catching nothing. And typically, you can just do one of those. Of course, not today. Why would it do that for? Why would it do that for me? Nah. So now you gotta slide it out a little bit. Come on, Butana, come on. All right, up there it is. There you are. Okay. Now you'll see it. You just line it up. Right there. I usually just use my dental tool, or I just kind of do one of those, and I slide it in. Boom. Okay. Now, it has to go back in this hole, right? And you can tell that right here it's flat. So I got to find that little arch area, which is right here. The first one. So you slide that back and you line it up. Like so. Now this is going to be the hard part. It honestly is. It's difficult. And sometimes I've pinched my finger, but you got to press down and up. Because you got to get past this safety nipple here. Because when you move the safety, it pushes that side and extends this side. All right, so when the safety's down, that's what happens. When the safety's up, it goes the other way. So anyway, so now you just gotta press and boom. See that? That was a hard, crisp. Go in there, right? So now it's back on there. Okay. Now we take the collar, and remember the nipple that we got here? That goes towards the gap up front, right? So like that. Put it in. and slide it to the other side. Okay? And now, take your spring. You can drop that right in. And we got to catch that little plunger thing that we had inside there. Yep, there you go. Just like that. Right? Now, the reason why I know it attached, because when I go to pull it up, it dropped out. And you heard the kind of sound, right? So, now you can kind of twist it to get it in there better. Just trying not to bust up the frame, the spring. Okay, now the final piece is the cap. All right, the button. Take it, you push her all the way down, and then you close her off. You hear it click, and you're done. Now it's back under tension, right? Everything's safety works. And give her a test. I love that sound. I don't know what it is. That sounds different than any other gun to me. You know? I don't know. Let's try it. Okay? Find another one. Oh, it's not hard to find. They're right here. There we go. We got our good old M17. See, that's different. This one, you hear the steel. All right? It's almost scary. I don't know. I just like the sound of that. Boom. All right, we test fire it. It works. We're done. All right. Super easy, super simple. You know, once you know the steps, you just follow the same steps over and over. You know? So, that's all I got for you guys today. That was a fun little tutorial. I really love looking at guns, taking them apart, and seeing what we got inside. Maybe the next time I'll take the whole thing apart. You know, I just didn't want to make this too long. I've done a couple hour-long videos. I didn't want you guys getting too sick of them. So, figured I'd do a quick one today. We'll go over that, talk about it. That's all I got. I can't thank you guys enough. You know, thank you for sharing your time with me here today. Please like, subscribe, share to my social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. All right? God bless you. I'll see you next time.